I'll turn a little.
So welcome to Nina's Bag. Nina's Bag is a podcast that I developed so that me and this beautiful lady here, me and my guests can always have a comfortable space, a safe space to have conversations about all kinds of topics.
Mhm.
Today, I'm blessed to have Jenny from For the Many. Jenny, I'm sorry, your last name.
Kuttner,
Jenny Kuttner, who's the director,
communications lead. Yeah.
communications lead for a wonderful organization called For the Many. I was blessed to attend one of their meetings and I was wowed. I
Yeah.
could not believe how many people there were at that meeting.
Yeah,
And
me too.
yeah, it was awesome. And there were so many Latino people there. I was like, yeah, well, I acted a little silly when you guys gave me the opportunity to speak. I was like, yay, Latino. But I think it's so important what you do. For those of you out there that have heard of For the Many, we're going to give you a great conversation about what For the Many does. They do so much. They deal with not just Ulster County, but Dutchess County and also Orange County, correct?
Yeah.
So, Jenny,
Yeah.
thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, I'm sad to be the only one representing For the Many. None of our organizers were able to make it today. One of our most seasoned Ulster County organizer, Deanna, is unfortunately sick. We're also sick just in one of those weeks, where
There's
the
a
whole
lot of
family is
people
knocked
sick.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but thank you for all of those kind words about For the Many. We
It's
really,
awesome.
yeah, so just for anyone that isn't familiar with us, it sounds like maybe a lot of people are, but the organization was founded over 10 years ago in
Wow.
Poughkeepsie. And we do grassroots political organizing here in the Hudson Valley across those three
So
counties.
glad
that
you came to
mentioned.
Ulster County because I think it's awesome.
Yeah. So our work really is focused on
Sorry.
making.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. It's so
Turn
squeaky.
that off. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Take your time.
Yeah, that's not good. Sorry about that.
No. Yeah, so we For the Many is a political organizing group based throughout the Hudson Valley, and we really are focused on making lasting political change that's going to move New York forward, and really
Awesome.
make it a progressive leader for the rest of the country, which
I
it
love
already
progressive.
is.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Yeah, we do our work in a few ways. So we have a really rigorous community organizing program where we are.
I can vouch for that.
Yeah,
I've seen them in action. I was like, this is like a tag team thing going on here. I
we are
love it.
knocking doors. We are making phone calls. We are
Did it
holding
all.
events. We actually do have some really exciting events coming up that I hope folks from the community will show
Oh,
up for.
please.
We are
Please
going to be
share.
having on April 19th, that's a Saturday, in Poughkeepsie, we're going to be having what we're calling our Build the Block party,
Awesome.
which will just be, and the events are the same in Kingston and Newburgh as well. So the Newburgh one will be on the 26th, I think,
Where in Poughkeepsie?
at El Chapulín, the ice cream place on Main Street.
All the way up Main Street. I know exactly where it is.
That's the 19th. And then in Kingston, we're going to be doing our Build the Block party on Saturday, April 26th at the YMCA.
Awesome.
And it's going to be, we recognize that, spring is in the air, feels like things are blooming and changing for the worse. Like you look around.
Weird. Isn't it weird?
Yeah, it's really
This is one of the strangest years ever, I think.
It's so bizarre and it feels so bad right now, but also we just got through winter. Daffodils are blooming.
That is the upside because that's a natural reaction.
Mm-hmm.
After winter comes spring and we kind of shred things, all the negative, and we're all excited about spring, but it's almost like you got to make sure you watch the news because you don't know what's going to happen.
We're worried about tariffs on the federal, global, whatever level.
Which is going to affect so many things.
Mm-hmm.
When they say it rolls downhill, we're going to be affected the most.
Of course, everyday people, just regular people trying to buy groceries and school supplies and whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah. And on top of all of that, the New York State budget is late right now.
Well, it's always late.
It's always late. We don't know when we're going to get it.
Right.
It seems like our legislators are maybe more concerned about making sure they're going to get paid while they're
I don't know.
some of them.
There's so many pieces to this puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's really a puzzle. But, I love that you guys are doing what you're doing
Mhm.
because you're putting it out there. I would love to work more with your organization.
Yeah.
Love it. Because this is my stuff. This is really my stuff.
Yeah.
Because some everyday people, believe it or not, with all this going on, don't know.
I think it's easier not to know. I
It
kind of
probably
wish I
is.
didn't know a lot of the time.
Sometimes I do too. Sometimes
Yeah,
I can understand that.
but that's not how we're going to change anything. You got to
That's
know what's
right.
going on if you want to fix it.
And for those people, and I can speak for people of color, we tend to like have a different grind. Like we're worrying about how am I going to eat? Like I got to make it to my next check. Like so many
Yeah.
people. How can I make it to my next check that you miss those things?
Yeah, it's
Not just
totally
because you're being like oblivious, but because life is a different kind of grind.
it's how are you supposed to be paying attention to the insanity in the news when you're
Insanity.
working two jobs, three jobs, your landlord upped your rent, your kid's not doing great in school? Like,
You can't go to the meetings because gotta watch the other, you gotta work
yeah,
the other job.
yeah.
It's so there's so many pieces to this, and you know there was a time when people used to always say they need to do this. Well, we
Mhm.
understand now that there's no they. That's
It's
us.
we. It's just we.
That's us.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's something that what you're saying about being able to show up to make this change, we really keep that in mind for the money because we are here for working people. And we know that working people are working. It's not always easy to show up for that community meeting or to go to the Common Council meeting to speak about what's going on and like it's so difficult to be plugged in and to take the action that people want to take because there's no
Right.
time.
But there's a metamorphosis going on at the
Hmm.
same time. And
Hmm.
that's the thing that I loved about your organization because that metamorphosis is awareness.
Hmm.
People are being made aware now more than ever because of organizations like yours. And it's a benefit to people that are kind of oblivious sometimes
Hmm.
about what's going on around them. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And like, there's so many different topics that are hot right now, but I think with a progressive organization, it's really progressive because
Hmm.
I felt like, oh, this is home. When I went to, when I actually left
Are
a
we going to
session, a
feel?
recording session, and I was like, I got to make it to this meeting. My heart is telling me go to this meeting.
It was the Know Your Rights meeting, right? The Know Your Rights training.
Yeah, it
Hmm.
was so much information and like you guys had this tag, you were in the front and I think it was the Latino lady on the side.
Diana.
Deanna.
Vanessa was interpreting on the side and had a lot of really good information because
She was
she's
doing her thing.
really
And then
seeing things in Middletown.
Diana, is it
Hmm.
Diana or
Diana.
Diana, she was such a big help.
Hmm.
Like you guys were like, I know everything, everybody goes through their things, but standing on the back looking, I was like, they're doing this. I loved
Thank
it.
you.
You had
Yeah.
the audience all interacting with you. I was like, I like this
Yeah.
organization. I got to have them on my podcast. So
Yeah.
thank
No,
you for what you guys do.
really glad to be here. Yeah, we
Seriously.
just, things are changing fast and it does not feel like they're changing for the better,
It's
but
weird.
it also feels like there's so much possibility for things to change for the better because that's what people want. Like, I
Definitely.
personally feel this insane feeling right now where it feels like in the country, in New York, wherever you're gonna say on whatever level, it feels like we are both so divided and so united at the same
Have you ever
time.
seen it? So
It's crazy. Like
it,
it feel and I've been saying this for a while, but it feels like a lot of the I try to have compassion for the confused people who voted
I can work with
against their
anybody.
own interests.
Right.
And I feel like it's everyone can see that the world is crazy
It's
right
so
now.
messy.
There are so
It's
many
so very,
messed
very
up
messy
things.
that like it makes you wonder, like this is not something that affects those people or some people, to put it in,
Hmm.
in real terms. It's going to affect everybody. I
Yeah.
don't care who you are, where you are,
Hmm.
it's going to affect you.
And I think we're all just trying to make sense of the insanity as best we can. And some people are drawing some whack ass conclusions.
I can't believe that some of the things that I like, it's just so bizarre. We
Yeah.
have I never thought that it would go this far.
Yeah.
Like my mom, who is recovering from a hospital stay, even she's like commenting like this, can you believe this? I'm like, I don't believe it.
Yeah,
It's just,
it's unbelievable, but it's also like I'm sure you'll agree, this is a system operating exactly as it is meant to.
it is. That's the
Because
scary part.
yeah, it has been rigged the whole time
Hmm.
by a wealthy few people, and who's allowed to be part of that little group has changed over
Like,
time.
let's
But
just
at the
lay off
end of
all
the
these
day,
people. Let's take all these people's jobs. Boom, boom, boom. How is that not going to roll down? How is that not
let's
going to
take all
affect
these people's
everybody?
jobs and let's take away any of the government benefits that they might be able to get to feed their families when they don't have a job. We don't, who cares about unemployment?
Good
We
point.
don't have health care, so who cares if you need to go to the
Social Security, I
doctor?
mean, we
Like,
hear that all the time, but whoa.
hmm
Like people have worked
yeah,
all their life.
hmm
I'm one of them. All their life, and
For
then all of a
what?
sudden, okay,
hmm
well, we're gonna take away from this just
hmm
because they think that's a good thing. Not
hmm
it's There's not a science to it. There's no well thought out plan. Um,
The plan is for the rich to get richer,
well, that
and
is the plan, but I mean, the effect of the rich getting richer, how is that not going to affect them even? Because if you put people's backs against the wall, what's going to happen?
yeah,
There's going to be total disarray. So
hmm
it's just, I knew that things were going to be drastically different, but never in a million years did I think that we would be like seeing what we see.
yeah. And that's it's why it's so important that people do what they can. And one of the things we talk about a lot is that it can feel so small, the actions that we're taking, like
Oh
the
no.
Know Your Rights training that you were at. It feels so small
There were so many
to,
people that did different things that I met.
hmm And
Like there was a
that's
lady
what
that
it is.
volunteers. And I was like, I felt so proud of this woman. I don't even know who she was. She's like, oh, I volunteer. And I was like, that's amazing that you do
hmm
that. Because you're helping more people than you could ever, ever, ever
hmm
imagine.
And it's like it everything we do has an impact and it's pushing little by little in the direction that we want to go.
Right.
We always use Sarah Hanna's election as an example of the change that we can make, and for the many did a lot of work on that campaign, and it's really influenced the way we think about the work that we do because we there were I'm talking about Assembly Member Sarah Hanna
I
Shrestha.
know
Yeah, she
exactly.
represents us in the state legislature, and she unseated a man who had been in office for decades, a very conservative Democrat who voted against everyday people's interests again and again and again. And she ran as a climate advocate. She had hundreds and
Which
hundreds
our
of
current
people.
administration
Yeah,
doesn't even believe in. Like,
yeah.
how can you not? All the weird
How
things that
can you
happen.
not?
Look at the fires.
Yeah,
Canada affected the
yeah,
United States in
yeah,
the
yeah.
fire.
But the fact that hundreds of regular people were making phone calls and knocking doors
That's
and
how it
talking to their
happens.
neighbors, that's how it happens. And then we passed some of the biggest climate legislation in the history of this country because we were able to get her in office, and she has been a leader and a champion for the people.
Definitely an advocate for
Yeah.
big
And
positive things.
yeah, and we're just trying to do more of that, and it can feel frustrating and slow and
It feels backwards now, even frustrating and slow as
mhm.
politics sometimes when you
Yeah,
want to
right,
pass
always.
something. But backwards is what we're dealing with
Yeah.
now, and that's kind of it's so weird. It's so very.
hmm
Sometimes I remember being involved. I did 2 terms for the Common Council
hmm
for City of Kingston, and it was a great experience,
hmm
absolute great experience. I remember thinking I didn't want to do it initially
How come?
because I felt like politics was the art of BS. I was honest with the mayor. He was like, "Come on, I need somebody in Ward 4 and blah 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 blah." And I was like, and I was a he had researched me so much
hmm
that he knew that I was well, I think I might have told him I was that political science was my major.
hmm
So he's like, "You're perfect.
You
You can
know
do
about
this."
this
And I was
stuff?
like, but I said, but I don't know. I said, we're dealing with a crazy thing right now because at that time it
hmm
was really good old boys. Simple as that. I'm going to
hmm
be honest.
hmm
And I sat for 6 months and watched and listened and learned. And hopefully, I'd like to think that I even was able to interact with some of them
hmm
before it was said and done because that's what has to happen.
hmm
But it was a very, very big, a huge learning. As much as I knew, it's a lot to learn. Like especially when it comes down to the math of what affects people when we actually vote on laws.
hmm
When we vote on finance. Finance was a
Hmm.
big learning experience for
Hmm.
me. Shout out to Mary Ann Mills. She taught me a lot. We argued all the time, and you remember, because I sure remember. But finance, I learned a lot about how things that matter to me at home were voted on from this
Hmm.
organization. I was
Hmm.
like, it's important for me to be on this thing. So,
Yeah. And
um,
it's important for people to be able to show up and make comments and hear what's going on and voice their opinions, but
right,
that's not the easiest thing to do. People
no,
don't know when council meetings are, what's going on.
I
They don't
don't
know
now.
what
That's
people are
terrible, but I
voting on.
don't. I don't know now.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, for the money is always like when something important is happening, we are going to do everything we can to make sure that you know about it. We're
I
going to
love
call
it.
you, we're going to knock your door, it's going to be on Instagram. Like you will see, we will tell you when it's time to show up.
So important. And that's effective. I remember there was something trying that we were trying to get past or that they were trying to get rid of that I
Mm,
thought was very, very important. It was a reading program that Teresa
mm,
Thomas, at the time, that was her name, she ran and they thought it wasn't important. And I'm like, I know adults that are reading because of her.
mm,
So no, no, no.
mm-hmm,
So to be effective, I did exactly what you guys are doing. I bought like 10, maybe 15, maybe 20 people that
mm-hmm,
were benefiting from that. And a lot of them were people that don't normally attend that meeting.
mm-hmm,
And they were so taken back, like, why are these people here? What's going on? Because it wasn't the norm for them. And it was very, very effective. So I
mm-hmm.
love that you guys do that.
Yeah, yeah. And we're always like, it's always the things that affect people's lives the most, first and foremost, that people are showing up for. We just had huge turnout at a Kingston Common Council meeting because over housing.
That's a big one.
Because obviously there's a housing crisis here. Obviously, there is more that the city and state need to be doing. And there was a resolution to support a state bill, the REST Act, which would make it
Awesome.
easier for any municipality in New York to opt into rent stabilization. It doesn't just establish rent stabilization flat out, but it makes it a lot easier. Right now, it is a very, very difficult process,
And
especially
it's
for
on the
smaller
table at
cities.
least. It's out there now.
Yeah, and because people showed up, the Kingston Common Council is calling on the state in a resolution and saying, you guys need to pass this because we are hearing from our constituents at the local level
I
that
love
we
that.
want this passed. And at the end of
Good
the
stuff,
day,
Kingston
rent
Common Council.
stabilization happens locally. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. The
And
Kingston
it was
Common
because
Council,
of you bringing this group of people there. That effect, it works. Like
yeah.
it actually makes people listen to you,
Yeah, and it's never just us. We work in collaboration with a lot of other groups because
which
there's
is great.
yeah, we're collaborating, yeah, a lot with other groups. Like I know for that Rest Act resolution, we worked a lot with Mid Hudson Valley DSA.
Awesome.
But that's what it takes is
Collaboration is something that people don't do enough
we have
of.
to work together.
I
We have to
think
work together.
I remember when I first started with the county, I talked about collabing. And the county executive, shout out to Mike Hine, who was amazing. He said, what does it collabing mean? I said, collaborating. Like,
Yeah,
he's like, I'm
like
gonna have
doing
to
it
use
together.
that. Like, and it's such a good thing because the more the more that people collaborate, the more effective you're gonna be, which is
Always.
probably why you had such a good turnout
Yeah.
at that meeting. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love what you guys do. Love
Yeah.
it, love it, love
Thank
it.
you. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to hear what specifically you love about it.
So I like that you guys are progressive because
Hmm.
people say, oh, we're progressive, and they're not. That's one thing that I love. I love the fact that you guys are in 3 different counties.
Hmm.
I love that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that originally, but I love the fact that you be about it. There's an expression, don't talk about it, be about it.
Yeah.
You be about it.
Yeah.
So like there could be a topic like the immigration topic. You guys didn't just talk about it in your group, in a small group of your organization. You
Hmm.
went out and got people to come and hear what their rights were, and they were asking questions. You helped people in that room that night
Hmm.
because some people, I mean, there was such a fear. There is still such a fear right now. I tried to have a meeting for domestic violence after that, and I did not get the numbers to that meeting because people were afraid to come out.
Yeah. People
And when
don't
I
want to leave
saw
their
the numbers
homes.
at your thing, I was like, they feel safe, they feel comfortable coming there. Those are all the things that I like. So that's just one topic that you
Hmm.
guys deal with. And the fact that you guys don't just have an agenda and you actually say this is what we're going to do, but you put it out there
Yeah.
and you educate. That's my biggest
Hmm.
thing. You guys are educators, and that is priceless to me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we do believe that political education is really important. And you mentioned that we work on a bunch of different issues. Those issues change because all of our issues are connected at the root at the end of the day.
Hmm.
And at different times, different things are possible, different needs are most elevated, whatever it may be. Like right now, a lot of people are thinking about immigration because folks are getting picked up off the street and
It's
pulled out of their homes
so
and
bizarre.
deported from a country that they have a legal right to live in. It's horrific. And so, of course, people want to know what to do about that, if there's anything they can do. And of course, there is.
The saddest thing for me was when it
Mhm.
was put out there to people. Originally, it was if you committed a crime. That was not the truth.
No.
There are people that are actually being held, that were actually being shipped to Guantanamo Bay, right along with gangs and everybody else that were not involved in gangs.
Yeah, they're sending people to one of the worst prisons in the world in El Salvador, and it's based on the tattoos that they have. It's
People, everybody has tattoos. It's just so sick because I said somebody's mother, father, definitely somebody's father is going to get caught up in that mess because,
Mhm.
and it's going to be wrong. And I keep hearing stories about it all the time, where people are advocating for a father that was not involved in anything and he
Mhm.
just got shipped just simply because he was Latino.
Mhm.
And for those people that say that this is not a target on nationalities, it definitely is.
It absolutely
Whoever
is.
can say that and feel good about saying it, there's something. Look at yourself when you say that,
Mhm.
because it's not right.
Well,
Because
and look at the people in your life too, because you probably don't have a lot of folks around you who are at risk of getting picked up simply
it's
because
different when
they.
it's you.
Mhm.
But see, me, I'm a very weird person. It affects me. If something affects
It
somebody,
affects all of us.
but it really, really it resonates. Like you
Hmm.
would think that I have, you know, it's just so sick that
Hmm.
that somebody that one week everybody was buzzing here, and the next week because ICE came in town, people were afraid to go to their jobs.
Or send their kids to school.
People, all these farm workers that were doing that are amazingly hardworking people were afraid to go to a farm and work. All these people that worked in a little bodega, like this is
Hmm.
this is crazy.
And how could that not have implications for the rest of us? It's our food.
It
If
should.
farm workers don't
People
show
don't
up to
really look at it
work,
that way
we don't
though.
get to eat.
But people don't always look at it that
Yeah,
way. You know, it's so sad that we have sometimes we can have our own form of ignorance
totally.
because it doesn't affect us. It doesn't affect us directly, but eventually
Mhm.
it's got where's the food for, and look at the price of things. There's the effect right there. Like, what more do we have to show you? You
Mhm.
know, it's
I
really bizarre.
Yeah, and it's, we live, unfortunately, I think, in a culture where, rugged individualism is this American ideal. We're all taught to just look out for ourselves and not look out for anyone else, not put ourselves in anyone
So
else's
sad.
shoes. And
So
that's
sad.
how we get here. But the minute you think for a second, how would I feel if
That's all you
my
got to do.
husband just got picked up and I had no idea where he
And he's
was?
our breadwinner.
Hmm.
Like that happens.
Even if he's not, probably both working, because most people in this point, I don't know who can afford to just not be work. Like he's a breadwinner, I'm a
Right.
breadwinner.
It,
Who
it,
like we still can't afford childcare. Like
oh, that's
it's like
another
that.
one.
Yeah, I can't
Like,
even.
there's a time where people, no, not there was a time, there is always the worry when you need childcare. Am I working just for childcare? Am
Mhm.
I working so I can barely pay my rent and barely pay childcare and I can't do anything
So that
else?
someone else can be not, I mean, not that everyone wants to be home with their kids, but like, so someone else can be spending time with my kid while in my case, while I'm like sitting and sending emails all day because that is deemed to be more important work that than taking care of a child. Yeah, it just,
I do believe that there are people, politicians, when I say people, that are looking at the importance of childcare.
definitely.
I do believe that there is a metamorphosis going on here.
Mhm.
And I have to believe that, I have to have hope that things are going to get better. You asked me, you said you wanted to know what are the
Mhm.
things that I like about your organization. Well, that's one of the things.
Mhm.
You give
hope. I remember there was an organization before, but that did similar work, but never as progressive as I see you guys
Mhm.
doing. So I'm proud when I see that. Like I wanna like I said, let me have you on here so we can put it out there
Mhm.
more. Any support that you get, any kind of financial support when people actually, and I want you to talk about that a little bit,
Mhm.
when people donate to your
Mhm.
organization so that they can, so that you can keep doing what you do is a very, very important thing. So if you can just speak to them
Yeah,
and let them
I'm
see your
always happy
beautiful
to talk
face.
about how to give us
Yeah,
money.
yeah,
Yeah, For the Money does really rely heavily on grassroots donations. That is what powers our work. It is what allows us to exist and recruit more people. We do a fundraising drive twice a year, so there's actually going to be one coming up either in May or June. It's
good to
really
know.
pretty soon.
Good to know.
But we do a summer and a winter fundraising drive. And when I say any amount helps, I really mean if you have $3 that you want to send us, we will take your $3 because it will allow us to do something.
That's right.
It pays for the text messages that we send out to get people to show up for
And if
meetings.
five
It,
people do $3, like I
yeah,
mean,
exactly.
it adds
Exactly.
up. It does. If you're giving, period, it's actually a good thing.
Truly.
Yeah.
And I think we're all really proud that we rely on grassroots organizations because we're not, especially now as we're seeing the Trump administration try to use federal funding to manipulate
It's
institutions.
bizarre.
Not that we're necessarily receiving that, but we see the way that large funders can have a real impact on the work that places are able to do. And it's not that we don't rely on large funders as well. We have a lot of people that want to support our work, but
Awesome.
it's when we build that grassroots base of just regular, everyday individual people who are giving and doing what they can. That is how we build real power.
Like that beautiful woman that was leaving as I was talking to other people, and she told me, "Oh, I volunteer." Even outside, I was buzzing because I caught the last part of your event that day, and it was just good to see that there were people that still happened. I
Hmm.
didn't know because I'm kind of out of touch with things
Hmm.
now, but it's really good to see that people do still volunteer and people are doing
Yeah.
helping good organizations like yours.
Yeah. And I think people just want to feel like they're doing something, anything
Especially
right
seeing
now.
things the way that we're seeing things.
Exactly. It's just like, what can I do? Anything. I want to do something, even if it's just showing up to this meeting and being around other people and talking about how weird and bad this all feels. That
I agree
makes a difference.
100%.
We just have to show up for each other.
There were Latino women in the audience, and your interpreter was speaking to them, and they felt I could see how comfortable and how
Hmm.
enthusiastic they were speaking because one, relatability is a big deal,
Hmm.
huge, huge deal. And I think knowing that an organization it was there to tell them what their rights were,
Hmm.
that was so big. I was like, I love this.
Hmm.
It's
And since that meeting, one of the things that came up during that event was, the Know Your Rights focused more on how people can react if they're
yes,
being questioned by ICE or if ICE shows up at their door or if you as a bystander see someone being questioned by
there were
ICE.
three good things, really
Yeah,
good things.
but one person raised a question. What about your rights after you get picked up by ICE? What happens if you are detained? Then what about the people on the outside that are trying to find you and track you down and get you
Which
out?
imagine that has to happen
Of course, it's happening all the
all the
time
time.
right now.
Right.
And so now we're working on developing an
That's
answer
all
to that question and
really
doing another training so that we can teach people. And
awesome.
it's horrible to have to do that. We don't want to have to
But
be
it's
telling people
true.
what to
It's
do once they get picked up by ICE, but people are getting picked up and taken away from their families. And it
right.
is just so horrible that if this is what we can do, this is what we're gonna do.
I never thought I'd see what we see now. I
Yeah.
remember seeing them in my neighborhood on my street, and I stopped and asked my neighbor who the funny thing was my neighbor at the time he wasn't very happy with black people because he had a bad experience with somebody. But I asked him, "Are you okay? Is everything okay?" And he was like, he just kept ignoring me. He thought I was being nosy, but I was trying to help him. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? So there's that collaboration. There's
Hmm.
and just an, kind of an example of collaboration. If anybody's asking what's going on when that happens, let them ask, let them help you. It doesn't matter who they are.
Well, because at the end of the day, they're asking, "Are you okay?" Which is not a cruel thing to ask. Like it's not untoward to be like, "Hey, you good?"
But people are not used to people helping.
No.
And I will say Latino people stick together. They a lot of times they only deal with Latino people. So my way of dealing with them is, hola, ¿cómo está? I speak un poquito español, and I try to make them comfortable. Just like I would somebody if I knew another language, I would do the same thing because relatability kind of makes people feel like you're okay. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, this is someone that I can trust. This is someone I can turn
right,
to. Maybe this is someone who knows
right.
what they're talking about.
So what are some upcoming topics? I love that you guys are doing that. What are some upcoming things that you guys are going to be dealing with?
Yeah,
Can you say?
so I can tell you our big priorities right now for this year. There's an affordability crisis, right? Like we can all agree on that. The cost of living has gotten totally insane, and there are a few
Prices are going
dimensions
up,
to that. Yeah.
but we're not, our
So
pay is not changing.
yeah, it's crazy. But we're, especially during this legislative session, as we're waiting to see the budget passed, we have been really, really focused on housing, climate and utilities, and immigration.
Utilities.
Utilities. And
Oh,
there is so much room to
oh my
really change
goodness.
that, especially in Ulster County
Oh
right now.
my goodness.
We need to pass the Hudson Valley Power Authority Act. That's something that was
I
introduced
didn't know
by,
about this.
let me
Oh,
tell you.
this is so important
Um,
because I called Central Hudson and said, is something wrong with this? Is this an accurate bill? Like,
I
how
had,
can they
I,
have a bill for $600 in 1 month?
same, I sent a screenshot to my landlord
I
just
thought
to be
something
like,
was wrong.
are we like accidentally paying for heating the
Somebody else.
basement? Like, what's going
But
on
that's
here?
what they did. Like,
That was just the bill. It's insane. And the whole way it works is just so broken. Like these are public goods, energy, utilities, these are public goods, and these are things that we should own.
that's right.
And so Assemblymember Shrestha and Senator Hinchey introduced a
Love
bill.
Michelle. Shout out to
Yeah,
Michelle Hinchey.
Michelle Hinchey
Oh,
and
this is
Sarah
one of her
Hanna.
things, definitely.
Yeah, so they've
Yes.
introduced a bill together, the
Both of
Hudson
them.
Valley Power Authority Act, which would buy out Central Hudson and turn it into a publicly owned utility.
And
So
I believe Tyrone Wilson bought that to them. I have to give him credit
Okay.
because I remember how this whole thing started. We were working together and he said, I want to do this because Central Hudson's crazy. And they ran with it. And I think that the fact that they ran with it is a beautiful thing.
yeah, it would be so life-changing for
felt-
so many
I
people.
felt like there was that there was going to be a good outcome, but something happened because I think they stifled
Mhm.
changes for a minute because there was a period where Central Hudson, I think they froze prices or
They
something.
weren't allowed, there were some rules around
some-
their shut-offs,
Right.
which they've resumed. So they are shutting people's energy off again,
Yes,
which is
they are.
messed up.
Yeah.
We know that their billing system is horrible and confusing and
Well, they changed their account numbers. So, and I was a victim of that, and I still can't get them to see it. But when they transitioned to the new numbers,
Mhm.
they were either not, when you paid your bill, it wasn't registering. So like
I actually literally just had that happen.
it's still, and I feel like I've never been able to catch up from since then
Mhm.
because it puts you in a position where things are just stacking, you know? But thank God for Michelle and I could never say
Sarah Hanna.
Sarah Hanna. I love the fact that both of them are became advocates for this
Yeah.
because this is such a major crisis because landlords, unbeknownst to me, a lot of landlords charge people for Central Hudson services. Yeah, not everybody had, back in the day, it was included in your rent,
Yeah.
but yeah.
No,
so.
no. I think a lot of tenants are paying their own Central Hudson bills
How?
and they are exorbitant. I just spoke to a single mom the other day who was like, I make what I thought was enough money, but I am being crippled by the Central Hudson bill in the winter months.
Incredible.
And it's only going to get worse in the summer again, too.
Right, because you set up a payment plan, but it's still like you can't even meet that.
Yeah, I just spoke to another person who this is probably 2 months ago, so when it was still really cold out, and Central Hudson was coming by to shut off his electricity and told him when he called to speak to someone, they said, you're so behind that even if you set up a payment plan, it's not going to catch you up. So we're going to shut it down anyway. Yeah.
And it's been so cold.
It
You
was
know,
still so cold. It just so that why is that who runs our utilities? Why is it that a company
they
that
can
gets to
have that
pass
kind
on
of control.
and that gets to pass on 100% of their operating costs to the consumer? We are paying for everything that they do. If they want to expand something, if they want to build new infrastructure, which I mean, why not? Someone else is paying for it.
You know,
We are the ones paying for that.
I didn't know that. I didn't know
They
that
pass on
detail.
100% of their operating
Wow.
costs. And then we haven't even brought up the fact that this is really dirty energy that's harming the planet that we're talking about here. This is not a green energy system. They're continuing to just invest in polluting and
Because
destroying
now
our
they really
environment
can.
and we're paying for it in so many
And we're
ways.
paying
We're
for it.
literally paying for it in dollars, and then we're going to be paying for it in climate crises that we're going to continue to face.
Right.
So if we pass the Hudson Valley Power Authority Act, which we
Hudson
are
Valley
working to do,
Power Authority Act.
HVPA, yeah, the Hudson Valley Power Authority is what it would establish. So that's what would take over Central Hudson.
That
It
would
will,
be amazing.
yeah, it will absolutely help New York honor its commitments to greener energy.
It's
We
a
have
twofold.
climate goals that we are not anywhere near meeting right now.
No.
This will help us get there. It will make bills cheaper. It will make them easier to understand.
Definitely.
It will make, because also, like, think about it. Who hasn't been on the phone with Central Hudson feeling real frustrated with the person on the other end of the line, even though it's not that person's fault. Like, they're working a job where they're definitely not getting paid enough. Can they even afford their Central Hudson bill? Probably not.
Isn't that crazy?
Right? So we need better jobs for those people too, which
Exactly.
HVPA would
I love the way
also
you think full
provide.
circle.
That's really how we try to think of everything at For the Money, is that, again, I said, like, all of these issues are connected. None of us lives a single issue life.
That's
That's
right.
such a common phrase, but we say it because it's true. Like, if you are worried about paying your electricity bill or your gas bill, it means you're probably also weighing that against groceries or childcare
That's what I do.
or any of these things
Still
that just
life.
make
We-
life happen.
Right. And we're not even talking about like fun, exciting things. We're talking about just living.
Mhm.
So it's really, really crazy that you pointed out something really, really important. Central Hudson, the cost of people having energy, warmth, lights, and also the fact that it's not green
Mhm.
is such a really, really big deal. Hudson Valley, what's the plan? What's the thing that needs to be passed again? Hudson Valley
Hudson Valley Power Authority,
Power Authority.
HVPA. Yeah.
Now you're gonna have me like researching HVPA
Yeah.
because I've been educated here even. I love it.
Mhm.
I love
Yeah.
it. You know, it's so important that the education that we can actually give from having a safe space to have conversations about whatever
Mhm.
is so very, very important because I'm telling you, somebody learned something in this
I
conversation.
hope so. I hope so. And
Now-
I hope that those somebodies will show up at For the Many meetings or at
So
our Build the Block
again, I want you to
party.
reiterate those two things because people kind of, you said two dates were coming up in May.
Yeah, so in April, actually, they're really soon. So if you're in Poughkeepsie, we're having our Build the Block party on Saturday, April 19th from 1 to 4 p.m. at El Chapulín. And if you're in Kingston, we're going to be doing our Build the Block party on Saturday, April 26th, also from 1 to 4 p.m. at the YMCA on Broadway.
That's right.
There will
April.
be good food. There will be activities for kids. Assemblymember Shrestha is going to be at the Kingston event, so she'll be available to
Awesome.
speak with constituents, and she'll be speaking at the event. We're just thinking about it as a time to come together and build community and political power in this moment that feels so uncertain
So
and
important.
tinged with negativity. But when we come together, it really doesn't have to feel like that, and we can
Well, that's
change
nice.
things.
That's
I hope.
nice. It's a good way to actually get other people interested in to join the movement. You know what I mean? I think it's very intelligent that
Mhm.
you're doing, especially in Kingston and Poughkeepsie. I go to Poughkeepsie all the time. I'm going to try to make that event as well. Do you do things in Orange County as
We are
also?
also having a barbecue in Newburgh on, I can't remember, I think it's also the 26th. I'll need to check. I really should know that off the
No, no,
top of
no,
my
no,
head.
please. You're doing so
Um,
many things. Are you kidding me?
but
Please.
we are having a barbecue at our Newburgh office, which is at 171st Street, I think, in Newburgh.
I
We
don't
have a
know where
lovely
First
back
Street is, but I
Yeah,
will.
we have a lovely backyard back there. We're going to be
Awesome.
grilling, I think.
Awesome.
But it'll be a good opportunity. You know, we organize primarily in Middletown and in Newburgh, so we're going to be bringing those communities together at our
Good.
Orange County office because there's a lot of work to be done there too.
Yes,
Um,
there is.
but yeah, we have those events coming up, and then another way that people can get involved, and I really encourage this because I think it just can feel so inspiring and heartening. But we are going to be going to Albany for a mobilization on Tuesday, April 29th for the New York for All Act. That is legislation that would essentially make it would prohibit New York State and law enforcement from sharing data with ICE or collaborating with ICE. It's basically the most important immigration bill on
What's
the
the name
table in
of
New
the
York
act
right
again?
now.
Again?
New York for
New
all.
York for all. I love
Because New
that.
York should be for all of us, and we should all
Yeah.
feel safe living here and
Why
be
help?
safe living
Why help
here.
ICE? Why?
Exactly. And it's, there's data that they're trying to get that needs to be protected. And right now, I mean, the truth is right now, this bill is not looking like it's going to pass this session. There is not a ton of support that we're seeing for it, but we know that people in the streets want to see this pass. They want it to be safe here. So we have to show up in
It's
Albany.
bizarre.
It is
So
unfortunately
bizarre.
incumbent on us to drive up there and show up and get to the Capitol and
I've done
demand that our
that. I
legislators
think that
pass
is a
it.
very important
Yeah. And
part.
but doesn't it feel so good to
It
go?
feels amazing. I took 20 kids last year. It's just really, it's a great experience, but it's a great experience for adults that have
Hmm.
not seen what we're seeing right now.
Hmm.
This is a different time and it's a different opportunity for those that aren't involved to get involved
Hmm.
because it's going to affect us all.
Yeah.
Because
So
if they can do this to the multitude of one nationality, what else can happen?
yeah,
You
I
know,
mean, it could be to any of
and
us.
trust me, there are things that are lined up after this to happen
No
because we've
doubt.
seen
No
more.
doubt.
And I mean, they bragged about how much was done in the first quarter, and it wasn't even complete.
Yeah.
The quarter wasn't even complete. So this is a scary, scary time.
It really is. And the only thing that has been making it feel better for me and a lot of people I know is just being around other people who
That are
don't want
doing
it to
it.
be this way and who want to make it different
You're
and
being
better.
about it and not just talking about it.
Yeah, we're trying to be. So, I mean, I know it's a big lift to go to Albany. You've done it. It's a big day,
But
but we
it is a very rewarding
yeah,
feeling.
and we try to make it as easy as possible. So for the many provides transportation. We will have buses going to Albany. We leave from the park and ride near the thruway. But we have buses in the morning. We have food throughout the day.
It's awesome.
We just really want to make it possible for people to get there because we know it's a Tuesday. People got to take off work. They got to find someone to watch their kids. Like it is a lot, but it makes a real difference. And
It
if we're
does make
able
a
to show
difference.
up in force and say, we want this,
It's
we need this,
That's right.
that is the pressure that we need to be
Just like when
putting.
I brought those people to the Common Council meeting, they were like, why are they
Mhm.
here? It's that effect. But the experience in Albany is different because there are tons of people that are doing this for
All
different
over.
things. That's right.
Mhm.
So for something like that for New York State, I know they're probably going to have people from different areas of
Oh,
New York
definitely.
State.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be a great
Yeah.
experience for
Yeah. We just
anybody.
were there for a housing day of action recently.
Wow.
People from all over the state talking about how they can't afford their rent. And we need these very basic pieces of legislation to protect us from landlords that are
Right.
just jacking the rent up however much they want.
You know, I thought about doing, there was a time where they were allowing people to build on their property where normally you weren't allowed to, as a resolution to the housing crisis. And I have a big yard, and my son keeps saying, you really need to do this. You really need to do this. So I don't know if that's still on the table because I know legislation changes all the time, but I'm definitely looking into that, and I think others should as well.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
if I could bring a family, I've actually worked with homeless families. I've actually taken my son's things, clothing, anything to help families that are at Darmstadt shelter. But if I could take a family and put them in a place, that would be like the best feeling ever.
Yeah.
I would do it definitely.
Yeah, we need more housing. We need more green. That was another thing that people were showing up at the Common Council meeting for, is that there's a bill for green permanently affordable social housing.
Wow.
And we need to pass that
That
as
sounds
well.
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we need
Green as in
green as in
lighting, like as an energy resource.
yeah.
Wow.
But it needs to be permanently affordable. Like it's one thing to build housing, but then just let the prices go up and up and up. We need to make sure that people can actually afford to stay in their homes for the long term. And for one thing, that means keeping people in the homes that they already have, which is why it's so important that we passed good
That's
cause
right.
eviction and that we have rent stabilization in Kingston. Those are the things that keep people safely in their homes.
Right.
But for people who have already been displaced and who have been pushed out, we need to be building more housing. People continue to move here. There needs to
Right.
be a place for new people to go, for the folks who have already been living here to go if they're getting pushed out of their homes, which we never want to see happening, but is happening. There's
And
just so much more that we could be doing to make our communities
agree.
livable for everyday people.
I think the landlords that are actually helpful to people, because there's a big understanding that landlords are raising rents because the cost of energy is going up. There are some reasons why landlords are raising rents, have been forced to raise rents, but I think that it's on a ridiculous level.
It absolutely is.
But I think that for those that are, there should be incentives like programs that actually allow them to, if they have the space on their property, to build another unit to help housing. Because I know there is construction going on in Golden Hill for housing. I don't know what the specs of it are, but that's a good thing. But that won't even be a tip.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
it's a pretty big dent we need to make, and
huge.
it's not quite
It
happening.
makes me worry when I see that there was a guy uptown homeless. Me and my friend were in the car and we rode by, and she said she walks in that area and she said, you know, this guy is here all the time. And I remember it was really cold that day. And I said, we got to do something. We rode up and asked him, can we do something for you? And he was like, yeah, okay. So we went down to the pizza parlor, got him something to eat and drink, and brought it back to him. And he had he had made like a little hut in a store by a storefront, and he was going to sleep there on the sidewalk. And I was like, "Can I take you to the shelter?" And he was like, "I've been there. I've had trouble there, and blah 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 blah." And I'm not saying anything negative about the shelter because I worried about this man. The next day, I said, I prayed for him. I hope he survived because that's how cold it was. You know. He was a super intelligent man too, super intelligent. So things like that bother me, and I think that there's a lot that's being done, but a lot more needs to happen.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it does.
Yeah, no, don't apologize. It's very clear.
Yeah,
A lot more needs to happen, and
'Cause
it's only
we
going to
shouldn't
happen
see
if we
that.
fight for it.
Yeah, and I don't I know. I've been out of the loop with the specs on a lot of things, but I'm loving the energy that you're giving. I love what your organization is doing. I love the fact that you are willing to take the time to deal with topics that are sometimes uncomfortable.
Yeah, but it's people's lives. People's
It
lives
really
shouldn't
is.
be so uncomfortable.
It really is. I'd love to talk more about green and your thoughts on green energy. I'm actually going to have another session with someone from, I'm not going to name their organization because I'm not going to do the title right, but they asked to come on to my show. So I'd love to maybe have you back or have some of your
Sure.
people
Yeah,
back
I'll send one of my
to be a part of that
colleagues.
conversation. Yeah, I because I've been looking into all these different things because I myself had to be a recipient.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's not easy. It's definitely not easy. But I want to understand green energy more. I would love to be able to.
You would be both.
Yeah, but I'd love to be able to have conversations about it and have people know when we say green energy, how does it affect you? How does it affect your lighting? How can we, like one of the conversations that I had, there's an organization that's actually giving conduction stoves.
Induction stoves, yeah.
Yeah,
Is
induction
it
stoves, sorry.
Renewable Heat Now?
Yes.
We work with them a lot, yeah.
That's who I'm bringing on. So my question was, if electric is more expensive now because again of Central Hudson, how do we, is it something that is worth is the green energy worth making that change? Because your bill might go up a little bit because you're cooking with that, and electric is more than gas at this time.
I mean, for that, it depends on how you're measuring worth it because
It's cleaner,
cooking, it's cleaner, it's so much better for health.
right?
And I mean, I say I have a gas stove. Like I don't have
My mother
induction, but
swears
I
by
also,
gas stove, and she's
yeah.
like, "Don't get an electric stove," but I'm doing it.
I think you should. I would
did.
if I owned my home and were making decisions about my
I
own
did.
appliances, but
Yeah,
it definitely is a lot better for health. Some of the cooking with gas is really bad for our lungs. There's been a lot of research about this. We should always be turning on vents if we have them or opening windows while we're
and I
cooking,
never do.
which I'm
Nobody
bad about it
does.
too. Who
Right,
wants to open the window in January?
right.
Turn the vent on and pull the hot air out. Nobody
And
wants
it's
to.
April right now. We're getting winter weather.
Right. Yeah, it's
So,
so cold. It's been cold and rainy and nobody
right,
wants that, but it is not good for our health.
right.
Frankly, gas is outrageous right now too.
They both are. But
Yeah,
the
they're
thought of
both crazy
electric being more
expensive.
than gas is like, whoa,
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
again, we're being, I don't know. It's amazing that this energy source that we have, Central Hudson, is able to do this. I had so much hope when Michelle and
Sarah Hannah.
Sarah Hannah were working on it. My sister loves Sarah Hannah. She's probably going to be like, Nina, you couldn't say her name right. She's amazing. I think
She's
she
really
does
incredible.
incredible work. And Michelle as well. I love the fact that they had a big light on Central Hudson. I actually watched Central Hudson explaining themselves because of this.
I mean, what I've seen at least,
But
just knocking doors, nobody, like nothing brings people together like hating Central Hudson.
it's crazy because it affects our lives so much. But now, this increase that just happened, I felt it. And I'm like, wait, what's going on? Do we need to get back on this again? Because how could they even have an increase? It was already too much.
Yeah, well, the reason that they needed that increase, according to documents that they submitted, is because they
What?
wanted to be able to pay $1.7 million in bonuses. That's why they had to increase our rates so that they can be paying huge bonuses to executives. We're paying for that. We are paying for
You
that.
said 100%. That's
It just shouldn't be this way.
crazy.
It
Like,
just
it
should.
just doesn't seem right.
And anyone who knew that would agree, right? And nobody wants to be paying for that. And we really have seen that. I have had the lovely opportunity to knock on some doors and tell people about the Hudson Valley Power Authority Act, and everyone is behind
I
it.
love it.
People who
I love it.
ordinarily are like, "I don't want the government.
I
Like,
think
we
that
don't
is
need-"
such a good resolution to
It's
that.
yeah, it's
What a good idea.
yeah. You could ask
We're going to bring
truly
costs down
anyone.
just from doing that
Yep.
alone.
Yep.
Because we're not going to want bonuses. We just want to be able to pay our freaking bill,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Crazy. I could talk to you for hours and hours and hours, Jenny. You are so amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so
You
much.
too. Thank you for doing
No,
this.
I've enjoyed our conversation. I hope I can bring you back on when I bring the other company to talk about that. And anytime you guys are doing something,
I will let you know.
please,
Yeah.
please.
I
I'm gonna
mean,
put
I
it
hope
out
I'll
there.
see you at the Build the Block party.
I'm gonna be at either that one or Poughkeepsie. I
Okay.
might be at both.
Okay.
Because I want to
Okay.
just experience. I go to Poughkeepsie for my nails and all kinds of
Okay.
things
Okay.
to get my hair done. So you might hopefully see me at both.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
you know, Jenny from For the Many, if you guys haven't heard about this organization, look them up. They're doing powerful, powerful things in your community.
Yeah, come with us to Albany.
Yes,
We want to see you there.
that's right. So the 19th in
19th in
Poughkeepsie.
Poughkeepsie, 26th in Poughkeepsie,
In Kingston.
in Kingston, Poughkeepsie. 19th Poughkeepsie, 26th Kingston,
Right.
29th Albany, leaving from Poughkeepsie or Kingston.
And
or
they're
Newburgh.
providing a meal, so
Yeah.
you know,
Well, we have food at everything. All of our meetings, we're big on snacks.
that's big.
Yeah.
That's a good
Yeah.
pull right there.
We're not going to ask you to come out and not feed you.
That's
Yeah.
a good pull in itself.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Yeah,
for coming
thank
on.
you.
I appreciate it. Let's see what's in Nina's bag. Stay tuned. Thank you so much.